Guys, look, imagine what that air filter looks like. As soon as that gets clogged, get no air, and the bike doesn't run too good. If any of that sand gets through there, then you ruin the engine. So very important. They're trying to keep that starting line dry. There's Wyatt trying to keep it dry for Jeremy so he can hopefully hook up, get a little bit better start. He's going to need it this moto.
Of course, taking off the cement pad, you can see there the rain dampening as Buddy Antonez gets ready. He's this year's Arena Cross champion. Look at number 6, way to the outside, David.
That's not a bad strategy.
Let's see how Larry Ward can take advantage of it.
Lusk was out there with him. So he can come all the way around the outside. Look at that. Lusk and Larry Ward, both of them avoid that jam on the inside. Worked out perfect.
Oh, and Lawrence, LaRocco, and look at Bradshaw, number 10, getting caught up. I bet they wish they were to the outside. Where Larry Ward was.
They're right there in the middle. The guys from the inside and the outside come together. You're in the middle, and if you didn't get a good start, you're just pinched off. That's what happened.
The two guys fighting for the whole shot, John Dowd and Suzuki's Jeremy McGrath. It was Dowdy once again getting the whole shot. Look out for number 14, Deja Vu.
See the way he came down that hill? He actually rode up to the right, up on that banking to miss some of those bad braking bumps. He's got this place wired.
John Dowd, our leader once again here in moto number 2.
This time McGrath with a much better start. Right there he can check out John Dowd. Look at that rain. Big drop starting to come down. But now McGrath, who was way out of contention in the first moto with his crash, now he can see what Dowd is doing. The fastest guy on the track. Follow him around a little bit. Maybe learn something and gain some of those points back he lost on Emig the first moto.
Really wild. It didn't seem to rain at all until they dropped the gate. On the 250s, they're having some bad luck with the weather here as adverse to the 125s, getting through their 2 motos without a great deal of rain. John Dowd, our leader right now. Jeremy McGrath still in 2nd place, but he's having a hard time holding on to number 14. Ryan Hughes in 3rd.
Geez, reaching up to pull a tear off in that berm one-handed. That's a good way to wad it up right there.
What happened to Casey Johnson earlier, coming down this very area right here when he reached up and caught the front wheel. Ryan Hughes, very aggressive once again. There's Lusk in about 5th position, number 11 in good position. Whoa! Hughes had a hard time holding on to that pony.
Reaching up again to clear his vision. The rain coming down is causing that sand to stick all over their lens. It's impossible for these guys to see. They're Lusk behind Hughes is reaching up too.
Ward, Hughes, and then Ezra Lusk.
You can see on Hughes as he went by, that film of the roll-off is flapping in the breeze. You can see right behind his helmet there. That's why he's having trouble. He's reaching up trying to fix that, and that's come undone. Now his roll-off system is all messed up, and that's going to not only wreck his concentration, but I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as him being able to clear his vision the rest of the motor. You can see it again.
Just off our top 5 Honda field summary, Jeff Emig in 6th position behind Ezra Lusk.
As it sits right now, Jeremy will gain quite a few points. He lost from the first moto on Emig, but it's way too early in the moto to think that Emig can't make up some time.
Well, Emig riding very smooth, and of course last year he proved that just consistency will win a championship as he hit the podium in all 13 rounds. That was amazing. 8 second-place finishes and 4 wins with 1 third place.
That only 3rd place, if I remember right, was Unadilla, where he crashed and bent his bike up so bad. It looks like another crash for Button right here. He doesn't look too good. He's getting up slow. Goggles are gone.
Doesn't look like, though, he'll get back up and take a 9th place like Emig did.
No, I don't think so.
Last year.
No, that was a great ride by Emig, which proved to be very important. Going into that last moto, imagine if he wouldn't have had a 3 or 4 point cushion like he did. It would have been a whole different story. Albertine in the pits.
That's really too bad for Jimmy Button, who's coming off a pretty good performance there at Budds Creek, a 7 and 8 for Team Chaparral. Albertine, they're assessing the problem right now. Doesn't look physical.
Looks like he's talking about somebody ran into him. Looking at the brake pedal there, of course, that's the side of the rear brake, and it looked like it might have been a little bit high, but that's hard to say. I mean, not so bad that he couldn't go out and continue.
Jeremy McGrath has his hands full right now. Larry Ward, Honda of Troy, battling for 2nd place. Oh, nice move by Ward.
Well, he just blows by Jeremy on that downhill. A lot of confidence to be able to just pin it like that and head down to that corner and make the berm past one of the best riders in the sport.
Really hard to put the fan on that bike, but it took a lot of courage for that move right there. John Dowd, Ward and McGrath testing ground to introduce their 710 prototype to the public.
We're doing a little bit of a tire test today with some of the magazine editors out here, giving a chance to try out some of the new tires that we're developing with in conjunction with the factory riders out here. We've had a number of the top riders trying out some of the new tires that we've developed, and they've been running for the past few events, and they're really liking them, and we're just about ready to launch them into production.
The day was spent allowing industry magazine editors and test riders to try out different tires, compounds, and the carcass combinations to learn how the tire performs on the track.
We're testing compounds, different casings. We use different combinations of materials in the casings to make them stiffer, lighter, stronger, depending what we need to do. We've also done some hand-cut testing so we can modify the patterns before we come up with the final mold. What you want to do is have a good idea of what the tire is going to perform like, and you do that with different variations of hand-cut tires.
After a few laps, Brian Fleck asked a series of questions concerning how the tire handled on the different obstacles, such as whoops, jumps, and corners.
Seems like it was a little stiff for the hard packness of the track right now. It's a little bit harsh. There's a little bit of loose dirt on top. Maybe needs to be a little bit softer. Yeah.
The most critical feedback deals with hard pack conditions and how the tire performs on the edge, how much it slides, and the starts. All information is then given to Dunlop tire designers so they can make a better tire for the public. But when can the consumer expect to see these new tires on the market?
The front we're working on right now, we hope to have within the next 3 or 4 months available to the public. The rear maybe is a little farther away. But generally you're talking a year to year and a half time frame from conception drawing all the way to final product to the consumer.
Back to action now at Southwick, Massachusetts. Our leader, John Dowd, number 14. It was rumored that Team Yamaha came to Dowdy with the idea of riding the 4-stroke next year. The 4-stroke experiment that Doug Henry is going through this season. And the rumor is that Dowdy turned him down. So it'll be interesting to see how this all comes about for next year on Team Yamaha after a very successful season, both in Supercross and Motocross.
If there were a lot more 4-strokes out there, I'd say, okay, I'll do it. But if you're the only guy, forget it, you know, because it's hard to say if he'd be able to get the whole shot and ride the way he's ridden today with that extra weight on this rough track and do what he's done. I just don't know if it's possible. Henry has certainly had some success, but here today it's a whole different thing.
Got to be a rainbow somewhere on this course. I mean, they went through rain on the other end of it. Now they got sunshine here on the top end as they go down into the intersections of this track. Jeff Emig, number 1, riding very well.
Making the move on Lust down through that long left sweeper. He's starting to carve his way up. You can see Jeremy up there, and he's riding smart. He knows it's a long title. He doesn't have to win today to win the national championship.
Jeff Emig, a second place here last year, 1:95, leading every lap of the first moto with a 1:3. We asked him about strategy in the sand.
It's real important to ride smart and to try to miss most of the bumps. I know it's hard, you know, there's little fine lines out there that you can pick where it's a lot easier on your body. I mean, I know that when they see the tapes and all that, and the pictures, it looks like there's just huge bumps, but there's a way to hit them where you don't use as much energy.
He's got it figured out, hasn't he?
He does, but I'll tell you the guy that's definitely got it figured out. We just follow around John Dowd for a little while, and he'll give us a perfect example of what Emig is talking about.
Ezra Lust breaking a string of good performances going down. He'll lose some points on that as he's been trying to.
Well, that's a bummer, and usually you can just sit on it and bump start the bike. Look at all that energy he's got to use. It's tiring enough out there riding. Then he went down. His front fender's tweaked. Everything's tweaked. Looks like the bars might be bent, so there goes this motor.
After moving up to 4th place from 9th at Budds Creek with that victory, he was hoping to move up in the point standings. Here's Hughes and Emig, teammates on Team Kawasaki.
Boy, Emig just finessed his way down that hill. I don't know how he made it into that berm. See, he was coming in a little bit too far to the left, a little wide, but he still was able to find his way. And look at the way they go right between those two big braking bumps there to get into that berm. Both of them, they followed each other. These guys, once they find a good line out there, everyone finds it pretty quick. And for Ryan, I think he's just all messed up with that tear-off or roll-off system flapping in the breeze like that.
Riders have to love that sunshine coming out on this tough track. Dowdy, still our leader and pulling away. some great racing already this afternoon. The weather starting to clear a bit as Jeff Emig now starts to take on number 2, Jeremy McGrath. This is an important move for Jeff Emig as far as consequences later on.
Absolutely. This will be a big blow to Jeremy's confidence to take off and be right there with Dowd in the beginning, and Emig, you know, back there in 7th or 8th, and then work his way up to the rear fender and make a pass on him. It's like, well, the guy is just faster than I am. What can I do about it?
Jeremy truly looking for a breakthrough moto here pretty soon to get this season back on track as Jeff Emig comes up from behind. Our colleague Davey Coombs in mechanics area with Wyatt Seals.
Wyatt, we've been watching Jeff Emig. He's starting to reel your rider in.
Yeah, kind of same as last moto. Hopefully Jeremy will get a beat on Larry Ward and kind of pick it up a little bit and keep Jeff behind us. We can't lose any more points to him.
Looks like a much better start that time.
Yeah, he came off the gate really well. He hooked up a lot better. I think he set back a little bit farther. Plus the asphalt wasn't quite as wet that time either.
Well, Jeremy definitely reacted to what happened in the first moto, get more wheel spin, sliding back on the seat. That'll put more weight on. There's Greg Albertine, who had problems earlier, cheering on his teammate. He doesn't want to see Emig get by him. And also Wyatt, when we checked out the starting line for the second moto, he had a towel and everything laid down to keep that cement dry and the umbrella there, and it paid off for Jeremy. Much better start.
Let's see if Jeremy, though, can hold on as Jeff Emig, coming from his backside, would love to pick up a couple of more points. Here's our leader, number 14, John Dowd, who has simply had absolutely no problems at all. He's starting to lap Bradshaw, in fact.
Bradshaw, remember, had gone down the first corner, so that's not an indication that Dowd's going that fast to be lapping all the way up through Bradshaw. Bradshaw had a bad start. There's Ezra Lusk also, who had gone down after having a pretty good run up front. Great first moto. He'd probably be loving to be in that position right there, just like he was the first time, but no dice.
Big question is, can Dowdy get 2 good motos in a row here? We brought up that fact earlier that he's had 1 good moto at least almost every year.
Well, that black cloud is gone. The sun's coming out. Maybe that's an indication this will be his day.
Davey Coombs is with Brian Barry, Dowd's mechanic in the mechanics area.
Brian, you got about 4 laps to go. You starting to get nervous now?
Well, I've been sweating all day, but I'm really sweating now. This was our scene of some bad times a few years ago, so we're just going to hope we can get through this stuff.
Well, we're not going to jinx it now.
Okay.
I can see. Whoa, John Dowd having a tough time coming through all those ruts.
You know what's happening out there is because of the weird lighting with the sun coming out and the shadows. See the shadows from the trees. I couldn't see the line very good and went over that berm, but he saved it. He's got enough of a lead right now to make a little mistake and still win this thing. Still pretty clean, too. The only guy out there he can recognize from the front.
While we were on Dowdy, the pass was made. Emig getting by McGrath. Whoa, look at Emig put on the throttle.
Oh, he just flew through that corner. That berm is just full of those deep holes he was talking about. He just skimmed the tops. Reeling in Larry Ward right now.
So definitely a points advantage for Emig passing McGrath, but right now, can he move into 2nd place and salvage a pretty good afternoon out of it?
A great ride. He's had some good guys. He had to move around. His teammate, McGrath. Now Larry Ward. Lusk made it a little easier by going down. Look at the drive. He got into that corner.
Looked like Willie Mays going for a deep drive in center field. I mean, he made it look so easy.
Well, that corner at the bottom really determines how fast he can get up that hill. If you get through that berm and get a great drive, which he did, boy, it just looks like you're a gear higher running up that hill. And on a 250, it's not quite as noticeable as it is on a 125, but Emig definitely got out of there. It looked like he was on a 500.
Jeff Emig doing a great job moving into 2nd place.
He's starting to look like Dowd out there now, just flying over the holes in the right place, reading the terrain beautiful, keeping his momentum up, and just blitzed around Larry Ward, already starting to pull away. If he had a little more time, he may have a shot at Dowd.
If the race ended like this, Emig would have a 43-point lead with 7 races remaining. If Jeremy McGrath won all 7 and Emig took 2nd, he won the first moto. He has just been as graceful and powerful as possible here in the 2nd moto, pulling away from the field. Already with a fist in the air, the final lap.
This is a great feeling for Dowd. Be able to ride up that hill. It's not that easy of a hill to just come out there and ride up with your feet off, your hands off, and the crowd is into it.
And the knowledge, too, you're making one of your best friends happy, Doug Henry, who really wishes he was on a bike here today.
Well, I think it's pretty cool that Dowd dedicated this race beforehand. I mean, it's easy to win this thing and then say, well, I dedicate this. He did it first, and then to go out and win both motos. Well, that's really a statement. That's got to make him and Doug real happy.
No black cloud over this guy today here at his own native track.
He deserves it. He's definitely worked hard and put in some laps here on this racetrack, and he's wanting to prove it to his hometown people that he can go out there and beat the best. He's done it today.
Well, his worst overall was an 8th this year at Hangtown. He's had a good season on this 250 machine.
Pretty amazing when you consider his age, that it's like just now he's starting to find his rhythm and really become a threat out there on the 250, and even in Supercross had a pretty good season, and he could still win a title before he retires. That's just amazing.
He opened some eyes back in 1994, started out on a Suzuki, then got his shot with Team Yamaha, and finished second in points behind Mike LaRocco in 94. And another thing about Dowdy is he goes by what's really a rider's section up there on the hill, especially the 125 guys that aren't in this race. Everybody likes him. He takes the checkers for the second time in a row here this afternoon. John Dowd, Jeff Emig, number 2, Larry Ward in 3rd, passing Jeremy McGrath.